The action is now going to continue at the Cairo International Stadium. We've got the women's uneven bars and the men's rings finals to come.
على جهاز التوازي الوضع الفني الإنسان اللاعبة المصرية جودي عبد الله.
So let's have a look at the contenders for the women's uneven bars title. Judi Abdallah of Egypt, who's already had success so impressively in the vault competition. What an amazing opportunity to see the reigning Olympic uneven bars champion Kaylia Nemour. Selina Bouzmayo of Morocco, 8th best in qualification. Ellie Black from Canada, 6th best in the preliminary round. Already the champion on vault here. Dildora Aripova of Uzbekistan, the gymnast who's been a World Challenge Cup champion. She's also been the South Central Asian champion on the uneven bars. A gymnast who is so associated with uneven bars finals in World Cup competition, Lucia Ribard. Tegan Shaver of Canada. She recently won the uneven bars title at the International Gymnastics competition last month. Croatia's Sara Šulikić, the national champion on the uneven bars and a gymnast who has been a medalist in World Challenge Cup competition on this apparatus. So there they are, the contenders. The finalists in the men's rings competition. Azerbaijan's Nikita Simonov, 4th best in qualification, the champion in Baku and the runner-up in Osijek. France's Leo Saladino, 6th best in the preliminary round. Mediterranean Games team medalist. Artur Sarkian of Germany, who has been a World Challenge Cup rings medalist.
Alexander Diab from the United States of America.
Alex Diab, gymnast from the United States of America, who has just recently celebrated his birthday a couple of days ago, and he celebrated winning a bronze medal for his first World Cup honours in Baku. Artur Avatisyan of Armenia, top performer in qualification, bronze medalist in Osijek and Doha. Vahan Davtyan of Armenia, 2nd best in qualification, silver medalist in Doha after winning gold in Cottbus. From Cyprus, Sokratis Pilakouris, silver medalist on rings at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham in 2022. And he was also a bronze medalist with the team. And here is a special moment and a very decorated gymnast, Omar Mohammed of Egypt. 11 times he has been an African champion. He's the reigning all-around champion of his continent. He was the 3rd best in qualification, by the way. He's got a real chance of getting onto the podium. So we are about to get underway. The Cairo World Cup of 2025. The uneven bars finalists. Judy Abdal of Egypt will start. Fourth best in qualification. Then we will see the gymnast who was, fairly unsurprisingly, the top performer in the preliminary round. Kélia Namour of Algeria, the reigning Olympic champion. The first African Olympic champion in the sport of gymnastics. Now we look at the athletes who'll be taking to the still rings. The first half of the rings final, and we'll see the gymnasts who were 4th, 6th, 5th and 7th respectively in qualification. Well, isn't it one of life's great privileges to watch this extraordinary young athlete, Kélia Namour, and not just as a phenomenal gymnast on the uneven bars as well. She is a really impressive all-around competitor. We must never forget that. Really hope you're enjoying all of the action from the Cairo International Stadium. It's been a very enjoyable session of World Cup artistic gymnastics, and we've still got these last two finals to bring you before the close of play. And still to come, tomorrow we will bring you all of the action from the men's vault competition, men's parallel bars and horizontal bar, and of course the women's balance beam and floor finals. As mentioned earlier, top qualifier in the women's uneven bars, Kélia Namour. Second best in qualification, Lucia Ribar. She'll go in the second half of the final, as will Dildora Aripova of Uzbekistan. She'll actually get things underway in the second half of the final. Third best in the preliminary round. But no doubt that Ellie Black could completely fly up the leaderboard. She only had a 6.666 for execution in qualification, but a 5.6 difficulty score. But goodness, hasn't she done fantastically today? Judy Abdallah, the Egyptian gymnast who won bronze on vault, now takes to the uneven bars. She was the 4th best in qualification, and we're privileged here to be welcoming the reigning African champion on this apparatus. And this is why. It's very nice work. Pac Salto had a very defined arch at the back. Completes a straddle Jaeger somersault nicely. And a decent looking double tuck to dismount there from Judy Abdullah of Egypt. Has to be regarded as a hugely successful day for the local athlete, who is a continental champion. She also was the all-around silver medalist and the floor silver medalist at that African Championships in Marrakesh. So it's no surprise to see her performing really well in a World Cup. Let's begin the men's rings final. And a fine place to start with a gymnast who really is a specialist on this apparatus. Nikita Simonov of Azerbaijan, gold medalist at his home World Cup in Baku. Runner-up in Osijek. He comes into this as just the 4th best in qualification, though. Let's see if he can push up to get onto a World Cup podium for the 20th time. Performs that difficult inverted cross up into a nice planche. And to a level Maltese. Good beginning this from Simonov. Pushes up with strength into handstand. And he twists around nicely to that dismount, a little piked, but quite steady in his landing. Very experienced and very accustomed to World Cup success, Nikita Simonov. .566 is virtually the same as qualification for Judy Abdullah. She's only down by a fraction. And here in Cairo, in the only World Cup event held in Africa, we welcome the first African Olympic champion in the sport of gymnastics. It is a privilege for us all to see Kalia Nemor. Indeed, it's an honour. Top qualifier, no surprise. Lovely sense of float and flight. And then grip variation to use the écheveau, and plenty of transition work going on here. Plenty of connection work, I mean. And then that double layout, dear oh dear, that was just glorious. It's all over so quickly, isn't it, Kalia Nemor's uneven bars performance? And that's why it is so fantastic, because there is never really any wasted kinetic energy, never any wasted swing. That is way better than qualifying. 14.333, a third of a mark gained, 3/10 of difficulty. That's where it was to be won. Leo Saladino, 6th best in qualification with a score of 13.8. The young gymnast from the French Riviera. Goes nicely from planche to Maltese. Again, that's a nice level looking Maltese position. Yamawaki to Jonasson to handstand with a small amount of readjustment. And he just lost his clarity in that dismount. The form broke and the landing position wasn't quite right. That's a shame. No surprise whatsoever that she is into the gold medal position. 14.533 for Kellyanne Moore, 5.9 for difficulty, is up a little from qualification. Overall gain of almost 2/10. Now to the reigning champion of Africa on the balance beam and the bronze medalist in the all-around competition and on floor and with the team. This is Selina Bousmayo of Morocco. Special occasion for her when she achieved that continental success in Marrakesh. Nice Jaeger somersault. Really working hard to get fully up into handstand to show that she's got the right position. Increasing the power going into the dismount. Very well done. The gymnast born in Düsseldorf in Germany began representing Morocco in February of 2024. Selina Bousmayo. She's actually been the junior all-around champion of Germany. For Leo Saladino, the score is down quite a bit from qualification by about 3/4 of a mark, 13.133. We move to a gymnast who's competed at the World University Games and who has been a World Challenge Cup medalist, Artur Sahakian of Germany. Starts with a great looking Maltese. Flanche also secure. Good level shoulder line. He scored 14 in qualification. He's got the capacity to contend. Jonasson going round into a Maltese. Does work hard to hold that handstand. What a great effort, but unfortunately the dismount didn't follow. That's so often the case when a gymnast has to really fight with gravity to get the handstand right, and they just can't quite pick up the accuracy in the dismount. But some lovely work before that from Artur Sahakian. She is well up from qualifying, 12.466 for Selina Bousmayo. She's gained about 0.8 of a mark. In fact, slightly more. Now here is a gymnast who certainly could move up convincingly from 6th best in qualification. Ellie Black, already a champion on vault here in Cairo. 12.266 in the preliminary round, but not the highest execution. Didn't have the easiest start there. but the difficulty score was 5.6 in qualifying. And unfortunately, couldn't get the reed grasp, rolled safely out of it. Ellie Black is one of the many gymnasts I was talking about at the start of our coverage today who is in a particular place in terms of beginning a comeback process following her 4th Olympiad. And some gymnasts are beginning that as well, even if they didn't go to the Olympic Games. It might be they put everything into qualification, didn't quite make it there, and are effectively restarting. So for her, the goals will be perhaps a little different from those who have come here in something close to peak form for this season. She's already done pretty well, winning that vault title impressively, and she concludes that routine nicely. Certainly had very strong moments to it. 12.9. Arta Sahakian is unfortunately 1.1 down from qualification. Lots of it lovely to watch though. And it is just fabulous to see her back in the international arena, the great Ellie Black. We have 1 to go in the first half of the men's rings competition. We're halfway through the women's uneven bars. Time flies when you're having fun. Alex Diab of the United States of America, 7th best in qualification. A very happy birthday to him from a couple of days ago. 3 times a national champion on this apparatus. Did so well in Baku, winning the bronze medal. Had a difficult time in Osijek. Has a really nice inverted cross position, and then that difficult skill going round into the Maltese. Makes it look nice and smooth. Just had to raise the lower body up a little in that planche to get it to the right sort of alignment. But that's a tidy handstand. He's really assured to watch, Alex Diab. You trust him gymnastically. There's a calmness about what he does. Special moment, those World Cup honours won in Baku, the first of his career. We've seen him a couple of times at World University Games level. Ellie Black scores 11.866. She's down a little in difficulty and execution, a couple of tenths each from qualifying, so all of that is a drop of 4 tenths. That brings us to the halfway stage of the women's uneven bars final. Likewise the men's rings, but we do still have the score for Alex Diab to come. And there it is, 13.733. It is almost exactly the same as qualification. Just a tiny drop in execution, that's all, but barely measurable. This is what we've got to come in the women's uneven bars final. Dildora Aripova of Tashkent, Uzbekistan, the 3rd best in qualification. Lucia Riba, 2nd best in qualifying. She's got a really good chance of getting on the podium. Tegan Shaver of Canada, the 7th best in the preliminary stage. And what about Sada Šulikić of Croatia? A gymnast who has some very tidy looking work in the interior of her routines. We're going to conclude with that gentleman. Omar Mohammed will be the last to go on the rings. The home hope, 3rd best in qualification. But before that, we've got Arta Avatissian, the top qualifier. Bahar Davtian, the 2nd best in qualification. And we have Sokratis Pilakouris, who is a real specialist on the apparatus as well. So, a lot to enjoy. Last gymnast warming up on the uneven bars. This is 19-year-old Sada Šulikić.
Coaches and athletes, the warm-up time is ended.
For the last time today, the warm-ups are over and it is time to resume. The second half of the women's uneven bars final. The second half of the men's still rings final. Representing Uzbekistan, Dildora Aripova, 3rd best in qualification with 12.7. Starts off with a Kachev variation. Oh, but she's unfortunately just lost that handstand position and regrettably, unintentionally dismounts the apparatus. Very experienced gymnast. Several years ago she won 3 gold medals at the South Central Asian Championships, including on this apparatus. It was in Bangladesh. Again, having to really work to keep stability in the handstand. Did well then to actually manage to get round into the classical Shaposhnikova, but it's just one of those days, unfortunately. And then uses the Maloney variation from the Shaposhnikova family. And she does get through the dismount with a degree of comfort that unfortunately wasn't there throughout the performance. Did have its moments though.
Preparing to ring, Artur Avatissian, Armenia.
It might be that this gentleman is really starting to come into his peak era. Artur Avatissian, the man from Yerevan who will be so excited about the European Championships of 2027. Top qualifier here. Twice a bronze medalist this season. That is a beautiful planche. Maltese is graceful as well. tidy handstand. Snaps neatly into the Maltese once more. Again, that's a very secure looking planche. The level, the alignment is excellent. He's going very well. That's lovely from Artur Avatisyan of Armenia. He's been a World Championship finalist on this apparatus, and he has been the World University Games champion too. He's been competing at the top level for many, many years, but there's maybe just something going on here with Artur Avatisyan that he's getting better and better. And I go back to what I was talking about earlier, the level of camaraderie in the Armenian team. It's very clear. 10.233, Dildora Aripova. She drops 2.5 or so from qualification. Kelly Nemore leading. Judy Abdallah second. Selina Buzmayo third. 3 remain. Lucia Hribar, the Slovenian gymnast, already has picked up a couple of silver medals this season. Very good height in the Jaeger. Katchev with nice extension into a pack salto. Good looking work. Maloney. She's really developed her power. And then a very precise looking double tuck to conclude. The really experienced Lucia Hribar of Slovenia. No surprise whatsoever that he leads on 14.466, exactly the same as qualification. To the team veteran Vahag Davtyan. Second best with 14.2 in qualification. That is such a well-positioned planche going into the Iron Cross with real finger point demonstrated. Did have just a moment of uncertainty perhaps in the handstand, but not so in the Maltese. Snaps into the planche once more. And regrettably a very compressed looking landing for Vahag Davtyan. He's hugely respected, you can hear that in the reaction from the crowd and his fellow gymnasts. And Lucia Hribar is into the silver medal position, 13.133. That's exactly as she scored in qualifying. That's going to be hard to displace. Well, we have 2 to go. The uneven bars champion at the International Gymnastics competition in Canada last month, a much loved event. Teenager Tegan Shaver, soon to be of the University of Nebraska. Smooth Jaeger. Good pack salto as well. She was the 7th best in qualifying. Quite shy of the handstand position there, perhaps. But there's a very authoritative feeling about that performance from the youngster. Really well done. It is a score of 13.133 for Vahaga Davtian. So he finds himself in 5th place. Great gymnast on this apparatus, Sokratis Pilakouris of Cyprus, the silver medalist at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. He also was part of the Cypriot team that won an extraordinary bronze medal, and probably, based on his reaction, meant more to him than his own individual success. From planche to Maltese, well. 8th best in qualifying. What a nice handstand. Hit that with such smoothness. Quite level. Never doubting those handstands for a moment. And again, he has just a little compression as he lands. And that might make it tricky for Sokratis Pilakouris to contend, because difficulty-wise he may not be quite as high as some of the other athletes. He's been a continental finalist on the rings. Over we go to the uneven bars. Last performance to come in after we see this score from Tegan Shaver. .2, Sokratis Pilakouris in 4th position. 1 to go, and this is very interesting. It's Omar Mohammed who'll be last. Sara Shulikic waiting to perform as the last gymnast in the uneven bars final. Really good effort that from Tegan Shaver, 12.3. She's up 2/10 from qualification, and she's gained 3/10 of difficulty too, so really well done. 5th place for her. So it's Judy Abdallah 3rd, Lucia Ribar 2nd, Kelia Nemor 1st. 12.566 is the place holding mark for the podium. Sara Shulikic of Croatia scored 12.4 in the preliminary round, so she needs an improvement of getting on for a couple of tenths to make it into the top 3. Nicely up into handstand there. Pak Salto had authority. Van Leeuwen. And a simple but cleanly performed dismount by Sada Shulikic, a gymnast who's competed at several European Championships. So there's now a very nervous wait in the arena for her score to come in, because home gymnast Judy Abdallah is in the bronze medal position. Is it going to be a very successful few minutes for the host nation? Omar Mohammed of Egypt, third best in qualifying with 14.133. If he produces that score here, he has won himself a medal. The first ever Egyptian man to qualify for the Olympic Games. He is enormously respected here. Not to mention 11 African titles. Beautifully level looking Maltese, that's precise. Jonasson opens the body out nicely into the Maltese position to a great looking iron cross with extension of the fingers. Handstand requires stabilisation. He's working hard to hold that. He's working very hard, and he's landed beautifully. Oh, well done, Omar Mohammed. There was a moment of nervousness in the arena as he just flickered in the handstand. To then show that control in the landing was brilliant. Oh, that is close. 12.533. Sada Shulikic, hundreds away from the podium, and it's more joy then for Judy Abdallah, who's won 2 bronze medals today. Lucia Riba winning silver, and Kaylin Amor, as expected, winning the gold medal. Judy Abdallah is about to find herself on the podium with the reigning Olympic champion. You can bet she'll be getting the phone out again for another picture. Now, what about Omar Mohammed? Has he managed to get onto the podium to make it double joy for the host nation? I've been talking throughout the broadcast about how much the profile of gymnastics has increased in Egypt over the last 5 years and how much participation has gone up. But he's been there right from the start of this long journey. He is a World Cup bronze medalist, Omar Mohammed, 13.866. This absolute trailblazer for the sport in this country. Dr. Ehab Amin, who's the president of the Egyptian Gymnastics Federation, being embraced by everybody. Well, that is a wonderful conclusion for the host nation. Just got there ahead of Alex Diab by only a little more than 1/10 of a mark. She can't believe it, can she? Double bronze medalist today, Judy Abdallah. Well, if Omar Mohammed has been around for a decade or more, then there's room for a new star to be born, and maybe it's Judy Abdullah here, because based on how she was being treated by young fans in qualification alone, she'll find it very hard to get out of the building today because she was taking so many photographs with youngsters who probably will be, if they're not already gymnasts, desperate now to actually go to training and start trying to do what she's doing. And then look at that gymnast next to her, the history maker for an entire continent at world and Olympic level. And this gymnast who mustn't be forgotten in the story here, Lucia Riba, who's one of the hardest working World Cup gymnasts out there, travelling the world, getting medal after medal after medal, now 7 times on a World Cup podium, a gymnast herself who made an Olympic dream come true in Paris. Each one of them in their own way providing a wonderful exemplar to the young athletes of the world. Well, not just the young athletes, to all athletes. Doesn't matter the age. He's going to be absolutely thrilled about this moment. Your bronze medalist in the rings competition, Omar Mohammed of Egypt. Nikita Simonov, winner of the silver medal. That makes it a full set of colours for him this season in World Cup competition. But I said when we saw this gentleman about to take to the apparatus that maybe he's coming into the peak of his career after Avatisyan. There's something really compelling about his work at the moment, a cleanliness, a precision to his gymnastics. And he is the gold medalist in Cairo. We're going to bring you the victory ceremonies in just a little while. The classified results in the women's uneven bars competition. Bronze to Judy Abdullah of Egypt. 2nd bronze medal of the day. Silver to Lucia Riba of Slovenia, her 3rd silver medal of the season. And the reigning Olympic champion, Kéliane Moore of Algeria, is back on the top of a podium and back at international level. The classified results in the men's still rings competition. Omar Mohammed of Egypt, a delighted bronze medalist on a fine day for the host nation. Azerbaijan's Nikita Simonov finishes 2nd, and the title is won by Arta Avatisyan of Armenia. After 2 bronze medals in World Cup competition this season, now he has the gold. Well, it really has been such an entertaining session, hasn't it? Let's have a look back at some of the moments of these last 2 finals. The work is done. The gymnasts now have the opportunity to enjoy the reward. 2 victory ceremonies coming your way. The victory ceremony for the women's uneven bars competition here at the Cairo International Stadium.
رحب أيضا بالسادة الضيوف لتسليم الميداليات.
The introduction of the presentation party.
المركز الثالث والميدالية البرونزية اللاعبة المصرية جودي عبد الله.
I think it's safe to say she'll never forget this day. Judy Abdullah of Egypt, bronze medalist again.
Second place with the silver medal, Lucia Ribar from Slovenia.
Lucia Ribar of Slovenia wins yet another silver medal, her 3rd of the season.
Uneven bars champion with the gold medal, Kalia Namor from Algeria.
For a continent, the gymnast who became the first African Olympic champion in this sport. Now at the World Cup in Africa, in Cairo, she has returned as an absolute global superstar. And we will now have the national anthem of Algeria.
All rise for the national anthem of Algeria.
السلام الوطني لدولة الجزائر.
Kassaman, the national anthem of Algeria, adopted in 1962 upon its independence from France, played in honour of Kalia Namor and her fellow medalists in the women's uneven bars competition. Yes, too right. Get that photograph, but don't ever forget this moment. You are there on the same podium as a multiple World Cup medalist and as the Olympic champion.
Now, on to the medal award ceremony for the men's artistic gymnastics still rings final.
One more ceremony to bring you before we conclude our coverage of this first day of finals here in Cairo.
Give a round of applause to the gymnasts.
أرحب باللاعبين.
The victory ceremony for the men's
Welcome
still
the
rings
medal
final.
presenters on stage.
أيضا أرحب بالسادة الضيوف لتسليم الميداليات. المركز الثالث والميدالية البرونزية اللاعب عمر العربي من مصر.
The bronze medal won by Omar Mohammed of Egypt, to the absolute delight of his many fans.
And in second place, the silver medal, Nikita Simonov from Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan's Nikita Simonov is the winner of the silver medal. And that makes it a full set of colours for him in World Cup competition this season. Also a 20th career World Cup podium appearance. Congratulations to him.
And still reigning champion, the gold medal, Artur Avizian from Armenia.
He's going in the right direction. Artur Avizian of Armenia is the champion after third place finishes at the World Cups of Croatia and Qatar. Now he is impossible to beat in Cairo. And we will hear, not for the first time today, the national anthem of Armenia.
All rise, national anthem of Armenia.
السلام الوطني لدولة أرمينيا.
Merherenik means our fatherland. It was first adopted in 1918 and readopted in 1991, the national anthem of Armenia. And there they are, the medalists in the still rings competition here at the Cairo International Stadium. Well, it's been a glorious day for the host nation, and also for Armenia with 2 gold medals won. So many stories and more to come tomorrow. That's it for now from the Cairo International Stadium, but we've got 5 more apparatus finals to come tomorrow. As we look back at the best of the action, I'll leave you with the scenes of memorable gymnastics today and hope you'll be able to join us for more action tomorrow. Until then, it's goodbye, but not farewell.